And what is going on, 49er faithful? I'm JD. You're tuned into Keeping the Faith, where the faithful matter. And how's everyone Sunday doing? I hope everyone's having a great Sunday evening here on this Memorial Day weekend. I know most of us will still have one more day before we get back to the grind, but I figured, hey, while we're all sitting around, hanging out, relaxing on this holiday weekend, I thought I would make good use of my time and talk a little Niner football with you guys. Some of you were here last night when we went live. Had a great show, tons of interaction, a lot of callers, a ton of chat participation, a lot of new faces to the chat as well as the phone lines last night. That was cool. Had a great time last night on stream, and I figured, hey, what the heck? Why not follow it up with another stream here tonight? Because the closer we get to football season, the more I get that itch. I know the more you get that itch, and football fans, man, there's nothing like talking football. We can do it all day, every day. And I thought, hell, why not go live here again Sunday night? Because I have some stuff on my mind, and I like talking to 49ers fans. I enjoy picking the brains of my fellow 49er faithful. And on tonight's show, what I plan on discussing is my top 3 things that I'm looking forward to personally in this 2025 season regarding the San Francisco 49ers. I'll lay it all out there, give you guys my thoughts, and then at some point here soon, I will open up the faithful phone line. It's not quite yet, so don't call just yet, but I will open up the phone lines here soon, and I want to take your calls, get your thoughts. What are you looking forward to in this 2025 season with the San Francisco 49ers? Because up until recently, most of the publicity around this team, most of the talk, most of the noise has been kind of negative. All we heard about for most of the offseason was, are the Niners going to, drag out these contract extensions like they always do? Are they going to mess this up like they always do? Are the Niners, are they going to be able to draft well enough to, supplement this team with talent that they need in key spots? Just a lot of negative energy was circling around this team up until recently. The Niners losing tons of key free agents. The loss of Dre Greenlaw has loomed large over this offseason. It's been a very big talking point amongst the media and the fans alike. They didn't really go out there and really replace anyone in free agency. They kind of sat on their hands and wanted to do things through the draft. And up until recently, like I said, most of the talk, most of the vibe around this offseason has been somewhat negative. But then you fast forward, and the 49ers agree to contract extensions with tight end George Kittle, quarterback Brock Purdy, and linebacker Fred Warner. And just like that, the switch flipped. Now, all of a sudden, you have a ton of positive momentum, a ton of positive energy, and a lot of the talk around this team has kind of turned on its head and become very, very positive, very upbeat. And so for me, I do have a lot of things that I'm looking forward to in this season. There are some reasons for optimism, at least to me, going into this 2025 season. And I wanted to discuss that with you. And again, when I do open up the phone lines, I want to hear from you guys. We had a ton of great participation last night. I want to follow it up again. So when I open up the phones and drop that faithful phone line call-in number, you will get your chance to call in and give your thoughts. But before I get into all that, let me see who's in the chat. You guys know how I like to do it. I always like to show love to everybody that's in the chat. So if you are in the chat, if you're watching this live, drop a one, say something in the chat. Let me know that you're out there. Also, let me know that you can hear me because last night we had a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm pretty sure it's all sorted out. I'm 99.9% sure you guys can hear me right now, but I would appreciate it if you guys were in the chat. Let me know that the audio's good, the visual's good, and we're good to go because you just never know. You just never know. You know, when you do things live, stuff happens. So let's see who we have in the chat right now. And again, it is a holiday weekend, so not sure exactly how many people are going to come through tonight in the chat and on the phone lines. But hey, I figured I'd go live and see, talk to the guys that are listening to the show here tonight and talk some 49er football because I'm always in the mood for that. So I see Danny Golding TV in the chat. What up, Danny G? Fun fact for those of you listening, and you may or may not know who Danny Golding TV is, but he is one of two people on YouTube who still make 49ers content from time to time that have been around longer than me. There's only two people on YouTube right now who make 49ers content every now and then who've been making 49er content before I was. A lot of people like to think that they've been here a long time or whatever. Guys like Danny Golding, Big Thizzle 75 is the other one. Those are the two guys that were here before me, and I started in 2009. I've been on and off since 2009, but my very first 49er video on YouTube dropped in 2009. And the only two guys, like I mentioned, that were here before me that are still around are Danny Golding and Big Thizzle 75. So if you hear otherwise, don't believe them because they weren't here back then. A lot of, guys like me, I've been around from the inception of 49ers content creation here on YouTube. And I've been watching since 2008. It really started 2007, 2008 with Frisco Fitted TV. Maybe that's a topic for a video down the road. Maybe I'll go through the history of 49ers content creation on YouTube because there aren't many people who are still around who have been watching it since the inception, since day one, like I have. And so I think I would have a pretty unique perspective and have some solid takes. Maybe that'll be a video that I drop down the road. I see Mr. Laid Back in the chat. What's up, man? Appreciate you for tuning in. Awesome. You're always here, Mr. Laid Back. I appreciate you. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So tonight, like I mentioned, what I want to discuss is my top 3 things that I'm looking forward to with the 49ers heading into 2025. And I could pick more reasons. I could pick less reasons, but I settled on 3. And I want to give you my top 3 reasons and also an honorable mention because there is something that I do want to mention that may not necessarily make that list. And you'll understand why when I get to it. But number 3 on my list regarding things that I'm looking forward to in 2025 is a training camp with no distractions, a training camp with no drama, a training camp that is solely about football. Over the last several seasons, you've had tons of contract drama, holdouts, hold-ins, players on side fields. You've had tons of distractions, tons of side stories, side notes to training camp that have nothing necessarily to do with what's going on the practice field in Santa Clara. Whether it be Brandon Ayuk's holdout, Trent Williams holding out of camp, George Kittle's contract in 2021, I believe it was. You had Jimmy Garoppolo throwing on a side field. You had Deebo Samuel's contract drama. Several instances heading into Niners camp where you had issues, you had distractions, you had things that had nothing to do with X's and O's and football happening while the team is trying to prepare for a season. And for the first time in I don't know how long, the 49ers will be entering training camp, fingers crossed, knock on wood, with no distractions. It's going to be all about football. And for me, that's refreshing. I love that idea that we're going to be going into training camp down in Santa Clara and only be talking about football. The things on the field are going to be what's important. That's going to be the storylines. Not whether or not Brock Purdy's arm is going to hold up after surgery. Not whether or not Deebo Samuel is, going to show up to camp in shape. Not whether or not Brandon Ayuk's wearing the right colored shorts. It's going to be all about football for the first time in a long time down in Santa Clara. And that to me is exciting. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the chat how you guys feel. But that has me pumped up because everything's going to revolve around the X's and O's and not all the drama and BS. I'm that alone has me excited for 49ers football this year. I don't know about you. That's just me. And then number 2 on my list, we can move on. Number 2 on my list, the rebuilt 49ers defensive line. Now you can tie in the addition of Robert Saleh as defensive coordinator to this and how he plans to implement the defense and deploy the defensive line. But the 49ers defensive line being completely rebuilt in one offseason, in one draft, has me extremely excited because you're finally going to give Nick Bosa some young talent next to him to run with and make plays and wreak havoc. Alfred Collins at D tackle, CJ West at D tackle, and of course, Mykel Williams, opposite end of Nick Bosa. It's going to be an extremely young, extremely hungry defensive line next to Nick Bosa, and it's a ton of new energy, a ton of hungry players looking to make their mark, make their stamp in the NFL. And I think they're guys that they're going to fit and they're going to help this defense. You bring in guys like Alfred Collins and CJ West, Mykel Williams, who are all excellent against the run. That's going to help a weakness on this football team, which is stopping the run. The Niners couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. Now they're going to have a very stout defensive front in terms of stopping the run, setting the edge in the pass game. And, I'm excited. I'm excited for this defensive line, and they have quality depth as well. Yatir Gross-Matos is going to get a ton of snaps. Evan Anderson going into his second year is intriguing, and I'm excited to see what this defensive line does. A lot of new blood on that defensive front, and hopefully the presence of Mykel Williams is going to allow Nick Bosa to, get back to his ways of sacking quarterbacks and causing havoc in the backfield. And if it doesn't, if they want to double Nick Bosa, that's fine. Because then you're going to give Mykel Williams, who is an absolute freak of nature physically, one-on-ones on the other side. And let's see what the rookie can do. So I'm excited just because of the defensive line alone. That has me very hyped up. And of course, you can tie that in, like I said, to Robert Saleh's presence on the sideline as well. And I think you have a recipe for, at the very least, something interesting and exciting to look forward to. A lot of unknown. And so I'm anxious to see what these rookies do. I'm anxious to see maybe how Robert Saleh wants to deploy them. And I don't know about you, but it's nice to get some fresh blood. It's nice to get some rookies, and it may not necessarily equate to more wins in 2025, but it's going to get this young defensive line a ton of snaps in 2025. They're going to have to grow up in a hurry, and that's going to help these guys in the long run. So this is going to be a very fun and interesting season, and it all starts up front in the trenches on the defensive line for the 49ers. With me, if that defensive line, if those rookies can come in and contribute from day one, this 49ers defense and this 49ers football team is going to be a lot better for it and are going to be in good shape, this year. That's just my 2 cents. So before I get to my number 1 thing that I'm most excited about heading into 2025, let me take a look at the chat and see what you guys are saying. If anyone is giving their thoughts in the chat. I see Rick Diaz in the chat. What's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you for tuning in, Rick. Nice to see you. Long-time viewer. I know that, man. I see Fly Esai in the building. What's up, Fly Esai? My main man, Esai, in the building. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. So my number 1 reason for optimism, and the number 1 thing that I'm looking forward to the most in 2025. And I'm not sure if anyone's going to guess it. I don't think anyone would be able to guess this because a lot of people's first instinct would be, oh, let's see what Brock Purdy can do. Now that he signed his contract, right? Christian McCaffrey's back healthy. Let's see what Christian McCaffrey's going to do for a bounce back year. My number one thing that I'm looking forward to the most in 2025 is the continued development and emergence of Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall, to me, is the most exciting storyline that this team has heading into 2025. He had an up and down season a year ago. This time last year, he was struggling to get on the field in OTAs because of a shoulder injury. He was barely able to practice in the offseason, let alone in training camp. And then, of course, we all know the story about how he got shot in downtown San Francisco. His whole year just did not get off on the right foot. And then when he returned around midseason, you saw flashes of what he could do in that Tampa Bay game. Where he had a long touchdown of over 50 yards, and he had a few clutch catches late in that game from Brock Purdy to help the 49ers win on the very last drive. And you saw some good things, but then it seemed like he kind of hit that rookie wall. It seemed like he did what a lot of rookies do at wide receiver in the Kyle Shanahan offense, and they kind of stumble. They kind of hit that rookie wall. They kind of struggle to get the scheme down and be in the right spots. And Ricky Pearsall looked like maybe we would have to wait until year 2 to see what Ricky Pearsall's all about. But then you get to the last 2 games of the season, and Ricky Pearsall absolutely exploded. 14 receptions, 210 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the final 2 games of the year. He absolutely went off. He went bananas in that Detroit Lions game. And he made some plays in that game that made me go, whoa, we might have ourselves a player here. And he it wasn't just one game. He followed it up a week later with another very strong game in the season finale against the Arizona Cardinals. He finished the year with 31 receptions for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nothing to write home about. But if you watch the games and you saw what he did late in the year and you saw the connection that he had with Brock Purdy, it made you excited. It made you hyped up to see what Ricky Pearsall can do for an encore in year 2. A lot of people lately have been talking about Juwan Jennings as the number 1 receiver. I'm going to tell you right now, don't be shocked if the number 1 receiver on the 49ers in 2025 is Ricky Pearsall. And he switched his jersey number to number 1. I know that was all about going back to his college number, but I think that number 1 might have a little bit of a double meaning. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to be the 49ers' number 1 receiver in 2025, and he's going to quickly establish one hell of a rapport with quarterback Brock Purdy. And I've always been a fan of wide receivers. Wide receiver is probably my favorite position to study, to watch, and it's just I love watching wide receivers. I'm a big fan of crisp, tight footwork, the head fakes, the way that they can create separation, the ways they can get off the jam, different releases off the line of scrimmage, the subtle art of route running. Route running to me is a very it's an art. It's an artistic thing. When it's done correctly, it just looks beautiful. I've always been a fan of wide receiver play, and I love the way that Ricky Pearsall plays the wide receiver position. His footwork is very crisp. His routes, he can stop on a dime and give you 2 cents change. He's excellent at running routes, getting open, creating separation, and he's quick as all hell. At the top of his routes are crisp and clean, and I love watching Ricky Pearsall. And last year, when the Niners drafted him, a lot of people were scratching their heads. You ask anyone that I talked to after that draft, and they'll tell you, hey, JD liked Pearsall from the jump. JD told me from the jump, watch out for Ricky Pearsall. And here we are, heading into year 2, and Ricky Pearsall, to me, is my top reason to watch. I cannot wait to see what Ricky Pearsall does with the San Francisco 49ers in his second year. And we all know wide receivers with Kyle Shanahan do make a big jump in that second year. And the Niners are going to need it. Debo Samuel is gone. Brandon Ayuk is out until at least midseason. Demarcus Robinson, free agent acquisition, is going to be out the first 3 games with a DUI suspension. Ricky Pearsall is going to have to get off to a hot start, and I believe he will. I believe you're going to see it right out the gate. The rapport, the connection with Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall is going to be fun to watch. They've been working out this offseason together multiple times. You've seen the footage on the internet, and I can't wait to see it in games. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very, very excited to see what Ricky Pearsall can do in his second year. Now, there is one other thing I want to mention as an honorable mention to this list that would have made the list, but you'll understand why it didn't. Malik Mustafa. Malik Mustafa is my favorite player. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Malik Mustafa has me the most excited of any player to watch on defense. He is an absolute missile. He is a hitter. He is in the right spots. The way that he can fill the alley and play the run. He has coverage ability. He will lay the wood. He's an excellent, excellent safety. And it's unfortunate that he had the ACL injury in the season finale a year ago. It's even more unfortunate that the 49ers waited 4 or 5 months to tell us, which I'm still irritated about, but I'm not going to get into that here. But if Malik Mustafa can come back early in this season, and if you listen to him and what his mom/manager are saying on social media, it sounds like it might be closer to week 1 than it is, mid-season. If Malik Mustafa can come back and contribute immediately, and if he can hit the ground running, I'm very excited to see what Malik Mustafa can do in year 2. I was looking forward to him more than anything before we heard about that ACL news. And I don't, as far as I know, it wasn't a full ACL tear or ACL reconstruction surgery. It was something to do with a previous ACL injury that he had sustained, and the graft didn't hold when he got hit. And so they had to go in there and repair it. He's already, running and jumping and exercising. And his mom, who is also his manager, has been putting out there on social media that, it's possible that Malik could be back by the start of mandatory minicamp in June. And so I'm not holding my breath on that. But if he is, that's awesome. I can't wait to see when Malik Mustafa is going to be back. I'm sure the Niners, if he is ready to go, they're not going to rush him back and or anything like that. But Malik Mustafa, if he's healthy and he's ready to go, and whenever he comes back this year, I'm going to be absolutely ecstatic to watch him play, because he is a young, up-and-coming, hungry safety who he is an old-school throwback kind of guy, and I enjoy watching Malik Mustafa, man. He is fun to watch, and he has me definitely excited for 2025 whenever he steps on the field. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here before we open up the phone lines. Let's see. Fly Esai said, I'm going to say Ricky Pearsall. Fly, Esai, man, you got it. Maybe it was the thumbnail that gave it away. I don't know. Probably the thumbnail of the video. Maybe you guys could guess it. I don't know. I see Ron Ladd in the chat. He says, fire Shanahan. All right. I don't know who Shanahan is, but the Niners aren't firing Kyle Shanahan anytime soon. Let's see. Esai, he says, man, I'm invested in Pearsall. Bought an autographed rookie card and everything, man. I think you will have a good year. 144 yards against a good Detroit Lions defense in prime time. Absolutely, man. He went crazy in that game. Made some circus catches on the sideline. He's fun to watch, dude. He is fun to watch. And if you're a fan of route running and you study it and you watch it, I love watching the off-season training videos that these guys do when they're doing the agility ladders and the cone drills and running routes, and I love all that stuff, man. I love watching I love watching those videos and counting how many steps are they doing before they get into their break to the top of their route. Where's the foot placement? Where's the head fake at? What leverage are they playing? I love studying the art of route running, and the way Ricky Pearsall runs routes is just fun to watch to me, man. He's a quick, explosive athlete, and he's going to get open. He's going to get separation, and we all know that the Niners wide receivers struggled like hell to create separation last year and the last couple of years. And so Ricky Pearsall is going to be a security blanket for Brock Purdy. And I think you're going to see that be established immediately. And so, yeah, Ricky Pearsall, man, he's the real deal. If you don't believe in Ricky Pearsall, you will. You will. That's just how I feel about it. Esai says Ricky Pearsall will be what Dante Pettis should have been. Well said. Very well said. Similar type of player, except Dante Pettis would rather, take photos and do TikTok dances and, that sort of thing than play football. Ricky Pearsall's tough, man. Ricky Pearsall's tough. He's absolutely going to be what Dante Pettis should have been. I see the vision with Kyle Shanahan by drafting Ricky Pearsall. He's making up for that Dante Pettis mistake by taking the kid. Esai says 2 kids from Arizona. Who would have thought? Yeah, Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall, both from Arizona, and both will be on the offense for the 49ers, man, and it's going to be for years to come. I'm excited for it. CG Ruthless in the building. What up, CG? Not sure if you're just tuning in. I'm assuming you are. But tonight we're talking about the top 3 things that I'm looking forward to here in 2025 or going into the 2025 season. I've already laid them out there, but quickly I'll mention them again, and then I'll go ahead and I'll open up the faithful phone lines and let you guys call in and tell me what you're most excited to see in 2025. But for me, yet again, I'll run it down real quick. Number 3, a drama-free training camp that is only about football. I can't wait to see that because the last several years, it's been about everything but football in training camp in the preseason. Number 2, the defensive line, the rebuilt defensive line with all those rookies and Robert Saleh's influence opposite Nick Bosa. I can't wait to see what that young and hungry defensive line is going to do. And of course, like I mentioned a minute ago, my number one reason or my number one thing that I'm looking forward to in 2025 is the emergence and the development of wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. So with that, let me go ahead and open up the faithful phone line and let you guys call in and give your thoughts. The phone line number is down below in the ticker and the description box. 415-498-0946 is your faithful phone line call-in number. Call in and give your thoughts. Let me know what you are most excited about heading into the 2025 campaign. It could be anything. It could be Brock Purdy having his deal done. How is he going to play this year? It could be the fact that Christian McCaffrey is back healthy. It could be the fact that Robert Saleh is back. What has you the most excited about the 49ers going into 2025? Because, like I mentioned, a lot of this offseason was all about negative energy, negative publicity, negative just connotations around this team. But not anymore. Here we go. And we go out to the phones. And we go out to the 559. Caller, you're on the air with JD on Keeping the Faith. What's your name and where are you calling from? What up, CG? How you doing, man?
Getting ready for work, but speaking of what you're saying, what are we excited about this offseason so far?
Yeah, man. What has you hyped up about 2025? I gave 3 reasons. You don't have to give that, but what has you hyped up about the 2025 season? It could be anything.
I feel more hype up about this defense. I think it's going to be a lot better than last year. I believe this run defense is going to be a top 5 against the run. I'm excited by how we kind of like address that. A lot of our fans were complaining about, we didn't get some defensive line in free agency. We let some guys go, but then we drafted 3 defensive line, right? So I see more optimistic than before.
Absolutely. I mean, they rebuilt the defensive line in one draft. It's kind of crazy, and they took guys that are going to be able to play right away and fill roles and help this run defense immediately. You see the vision. You see what Robert Saleh is trying to do. At the very least, he wants this defense to be able to stop the run, and then we can worry about everything else later.
Yeah, I believe that's what I'm looking forward to is that run defense is going to be a lot better. I feel like this defense is going to give us a little bit of that 2019 vibes a little bit, because I feel like that's something we were lacking the last 2 years before I mean, even 2 years ago, we still made the Super Bowl, but we didn't have a great run defense from that get go.
Yeah, I mean they've been struggling to stop the run for quite some time, so hopefully they can get it corrected. What about on the offensive side of the ball? What on the offensive side of the ball? What has you excited going into this year?
I'm excited to see what Juwan Jennings can do, man. I'm seeing more opportunities for this guy since Brandon Ayuk's going to miss significant time. I mean, you're not going to see Robinson until maybe like the next 3 games. This is going to be all on Juwan Jennings, bro. I'm been pretty high on Juwan Jennings for quite some time, and I believe he's going to break out this year, man. I'm just a big Juwan Jennings fan. I think his opportunities are going to present itself, and I think he's going to prove that he could be the number one guy until Ayuk returns. You know?
I mean, I don't disagree. I could see it happening. You know, he had a hell of a year last year. Would have went over 1,000 yards if he wasn't thrown out of that game late in the season. And he showed that he can make plays. He and Brock Purdy showed a really solid connection, and I could see him definitely taking another step in his progression, especially given the fact that he's going to be playing for a long term contract after this year.
Yeah, he's definitely because the crazy part about this, man, is when a player's on a contract year, they want to prove more. They're going to put it out there. So I think Jennings is going to put it out there.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, CG, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling in. I'll let you go, but any final thoughts?
Yeah, any final thoughts about it is that special teams unit is going to be a lot better, man. I see that we've been getting some guys on special teams. I mean, it's probably one of the most position that nobody talks about. Like, you had the three phases of the game, right? You have offense, defense, and special teams. We've been losing games based by special teams. I believe this special teams unit is going to be something we should look forward to, man. I feel like this kickoff coverage unit is going to make some big plays and might determine some outcomes. So that's another one I want to put out there.
Hey, I like it, man. I dig it. Well, hey, CG, man, have a great rest of your night. Thanks for calling, brother.
Oh, yeah, anytime, my guy.
Alrighty. Shout out CG for calling into the show. Much appreciated. I see David Culper in the chat. What's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. Now's your guys' chance. CG's off the line. The faithful phone line's open. 415-498-0946 is your call-in number. What has you the most excited about the 49ers entering the 2025 season? Is it that Brock Purdy's contract is done and now all he's going to worry about is playing the game? Is it Christian McCaffrey back healthy? What has you hyped up? Is it Michael Williams, the first round rookie? Are you hyped up to see what he's going to do opposite Nick Bosa, considering he's going to get a ton of one-on-ones? Is it the cornerback duo of Diamador Lenore and Renardo Green locking down receivers in the NFC West this year? What has you the most hyped up? You don't have to give me 3 reasons, but at least give me one. If you want to give more than that, that's fine too. I laid mine out there. Now I want to hear from you, the 49er faithful. What has you the most hyped up? Because up until recently, like I said, it was a lot of doom and gloom. A lot of the sky is falling. A lot of, oh man, the Niners don't know what they're doing. Oh, what are we doing? They're not spending any money. They're not doing anything. But here we are, after the Niners just shelled out a ton of money to re-sign their core group of guys, and it seems like the things have flipped a little bit. And it seems like there's a lot of positive energy, a lot of positive talk, a lot of optimism entering the season, and I'm hyped up, man. I've been hyped up. Bringing in Robert Saleh can't be understated. His influence on the defense is going to be huge, absolutely critical. Just that alone, back in January, has had me waiting, and just anxious for football to get here. I can't wait to see what Robert Saleh does with this defense and how he is on the sideline and just what his presence is going to do for this football team. I expect big things out of Robert Saleh this year, and that's got me hyped up too. David Culper in the chat says, "Can't wait to see what the rookies do this season." Yeah, man, a strong rookie class, and that's following up a strong rookie class from a season ago. And so there's a lot of young talent on this team that figures to get a ton of run And that could be what you're most excited to see. What do the Young Bucks do this year? Guys like, Marquise Siegel potentially. We mentioned him last stream. Guys like Jordan James, the tailback. Is he going to get on the field? Isaac Garendo from a year ago. What's he going to do in his second season now that Jordan Mason is out the door? Is Jordan Watkins going to supplant uh, uh, Jacob Cowing at wide receiver? Is he going to leapfrog him on the depth chart? There's a lot of position battles that we have to look forward to come training camp, and a lot of young talent on this team. A lot of unknown in terms of who's going to fill roles. Is Bergen the kick returner that they took in the seventh round of this year's draft? Is he going to be the guy at returner like everyone's hyping him up to be? There's a lot of storylines, man. Jake Moody, the kicker that everyone hates, he's going to be in a competition with Greg Joseph. Who's going to be the 49ers kicker this year? CG a minute ago mentioned the special teams. Hey, I'll get excited about special teams when they tell me Jake Moody's off this football team. And we go back to the phones and out to the 415. Caller, you're on the air with JD. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, JD? This is Keys from Frisco.
Keys, what up, man? From Frisco, I see you. How you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. Watched a great basketball game, hyped up. Yeah, man. I was gonna say, I think Christian McCaffrey for me is probably what I'm most excited about, just because last time he was healthy, he was Offensive Player of the Year and basically took us to the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, I want to see just how healthy Christian McCaffrey can be. He looked like he was finally getting there last year before he hurt himself in that Buffalo game and was out for the season. But if he can regain form, the sky's the limit for the 49ers offense and this football team. If he can be the Christian McCaffrey of old, the Niners can do kind of whatever they want to do this year. I really think that. But on the other hand, McCaffrey is 29. He does have a lot of wear and tear on his tires since coming to San Francisco. So I don't know if Kyle Shanahan's going to do what he's done in the past and just give McCaffrey the ball and let him do whatever he wants with it, or if we're going to actually do what they should have been doing all along and sprinkle in some touches for Isaac Garendo, Jordan James. Spell him. Get him a breather every once in a while.
No, no, spot on, man, spot on. Because I know that they signed him to extension last year, so like I think to me this is kind of a prove it season for McCaffrey because he's got big money hits coming up the next 2 years, and in my eyes, if he can't get close to the back to that that top all pro level, I mean I don't know if he sticks around. He's going to have to probably take a pay cut. You know, I'm just saying because at 19 million or something he's due to make the next year or two, a year. That's kind of that's ridiculous for a running back.
Yeah, if he has another season where he's dealing with injuries and he just doesn't look the same, maybe he's lost a step. Yeah, I could definitely see the 49ers going to Christian next offseason and being like, "Hey man, like come on, let's take a little off the top of that, make it a little bit more manageable for us, and let's not cause any drama. But if you aren't who you were, we need to take a little off the top. Keys, man, I gotta ask on the defensive side of the ball, what has you excited about this year?
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, I was going to get to that. So I mean, obviously Robert Sala, man. I mean, I love that guy. Even when he went to the Jets, I became a big Jets fan. And tell you the truth, man, if it wasn't for Zach Allison's crappy ass, I think he would have been like a playoff. That he would have had the Jets as a playoff team with just like an average quarterback. So definitely Robert Sala, main thing for the D, and obviously, I mean, Mikael Williams, Alfred Collins. Those are the two main guys I'm gonna have my eye on because I feel like if they're just if they're just above average rookie year type of deal, I think we'll be just fine on D.
If those rookies on that defensive line can be, at least just average this year, it's going to give the 49ers a hell of a chance to compete on defense because Robert Sala is going to get the best out of this defense. And that I think is the most important aspect of this whole thing. Like, you might not have the most talented guys in certain spots. You might have some holes. You might have some rookies who may take a minute to get going. But the presence of Robert Saleh alone is going to make the defense better. Guys are going to be in the right spots, and Saleh's going to use his players where they should best be used. And that's where an experienced coordinator like Saleh comes into play. And I can't wait to see him just on the sidelines hyping up the guys, jumping up and down, and bringing some excitement back on the sidelines for this defense.
I'm telling you, man, when I see him, it makes me want to hit somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I feel you. I
Man,
feel you, man.
yeah. And the last thing, I feel like special teams as well. I think last year ownership looked at the whole season and saw that special teams basically lost us around 3 games. They saw that the defense had a coordinator that shouldn't have been there. So I think they did the right thing. They spent big money, got a great defensive coordinator, got a great special teams coordinator, and now it's just time for them to coach these guys up and hopefully get our sixth.
I like the way that special teams coordinator Brant Boyer has been talking, man, and he's a no nonsense guy. He's been a heck of a special teams coordinator in the league for a long time. He and Saleh go back to their days with the Jets. At the very least, I expect the coverage unit on special teams to be much improved. But as far as the kicking game goes, if they keep Jake Moody, man, I'm gonna keep it real. If they keep Jake Moody, I don't. Special teams is not going to be good. As long as they keep Jake Moody, special teams is going to be a problem. They need to move on. Cut bait. Take your loss. Move on from Jake Moody. Otherwise, you're going to see the same thing that we've been seeing since the first preseason game that kid played in. They need to cut their losses and move on from Jake Moody. Otherwise, special teams is going to keep costing them games.
Yeah, no, I mean that's everybody, all my friends, everybody. They hate Moody, man. They hate Moody. I don't know. I guess I'm a little easier on him. I mean, he obviously screwed up last year, but I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that he was hurt. And I guess I don't know. I just love those kickers that could make 65-yard field goals and stuff like that. But I mean, if he's not accurate, get rid of the bum. I mean, come on, you got to be accurate.
I mean, at the very least, this is it. Like he's got to show it this year, or he's done. I don't think there's any debate there. If he can't put it together this year, he's gone. And they brought in Greg Joseph to compete with him in training camp. I don't know if he'll beat out Jake Moody, but at least he's going to light a fire under Jake Moody and make Moody have to lock in and really earn that spot.
No, exactly. And Brent Boyer too. He's gonna be on his ass too. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing given to you this year, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to make it happen.
And I want to see who the returner is going to be. Is it going to be Jacob Cowing? Is it going to be Bergen, the seventh rounder that they selected? Who's the return man going to be? Because this team has not had a reliable, consistent kick returner since Ted Ginn. It's been that long.
Ted Ginn, yeah.
So that's another huge thing. Who's going to be the returner this year? Who do you think?
Man, you know what? I mean, I was hoping Garendo, but gosh, he's running into people, fumbling. Gosh, man, if that Bergen guy, I just don't like keeping a wide receiver that's just a returner, though. You got to show something on offense. But, yeah, I think it's going to be Cowing as our punt returner again because obviously I think he's going to be third wide receiver to start the season. And as far as the kick return goes, man, we had Debo doing it last year. I thought he did a really, really good job. And yeah, that's gonna be the I think the battle. I mean, see who could do it. See who could do it. See who could I mean, I don't know. I even heard Upton Stout's coach saying that he wanted to use him more on like special teams and offense. I mean, I don't know if that's in his repertoire, but man, I mean 5'8", 4 speed. That's a hard guy to tackle right there,
Yeah, that's preseason. Preseason's going to be fun. I can't wait to see all the different guys returning kicks and see how they perform. Well, hey Keys, man, I appreciate you calling in on back-to-back nights, man. Thanks for tuning in, and don't be a stranger, man. Call back next time we're live.
Will do, JD. Much love. Have a great weekend, brother.
All right, you too. Thanks so much. Shout out to Keys for calling in. He found the channel recently, called in for the first time yesterday, and now here he is, back-to-back nights, strong calls. Shout out to Keys for calling in. Much, much appreciated. And now that he's off the line, that frees up a spot for you, if you want to call in, and yeah, I'm talking to you right there. If you want to call in and give your thoughts, what has you the most excited about the 49ers going into the 2025 season? The faithful phone line is open. 415-498-0946 is your call in number. What has you the most hyped up? We've hit on a little bit of everything. We've hit on special teams. We've hit on the defense, the defensive line. We've hit on the Christian McCaffrey. We've hit on the wide receiver position. Robert Saleh at defensive coordinator. What has you the most excited for 2025? Now that all the contracts are signed, now that all the drama is over with, and it's all about football for once, what has you the most excited about the 49ers heading into the 2025 season? Call in and give your thoughts. Let's see what the chat has going on. Oh, never mind. Got to go back to the phones. The phones are hot tonight. We go back out to the lines to the 209. Caller, you're on the air with JD. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, JD, it's Eastside again. How you doing?
Eastside, what's up, my friend? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. Enjoying this Memorial Day weekend. Hey, man, what I'm excited for is, we got plenty of depth at tight end now. We've spent money there. We brought back some familiar faces. Now let's start using Kittle more as a receiving threat and less as a left tackle, right tackle hybrid type guy. Let's get Kittle the ball and in space and let him do what he does best.
That's a little bit of an overlooked thing is the fact that they do have some bodies at tight end now who can come in and block while Kittle gets spread out and gets featured more as a receiver in the offense. Absolutely. That's a spot on take by you. With Demarcus Robinson out the first 3 games with a suspension, presumably, and with Brandon Ayuk out until at least midseason coming off that ACL injury, Kittle has to be featured early on in the year, and they can definitely spread him out, get him the ball. He's done screens and end arounds. Kittle can still do a little bit of everything for you, and you put him out in 3 receiver sets with Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and George Kittle. Hey, I like my chances.
Yes, sir, man. I agree with you, man. He's a dog. I mean, he still has it in him. He's still a threat. He's still fast. Definitely someone I'm gonna be looking to draft in fantasy. And just as a keeper, definitely, probably my tight end one. I mean, he could be our whole offense. He practically was our whole offense last year.
He's a Hall of Famer, man. That's the only way. He's a Hall of Famer. George Kittle is
no doubt
a future
First
Hall of
ballot.
Famer and the greatest tight end in 49ers history.
Yes, I agree.
What about on the defensive side of the ball? What has you excited for that side of things?
On the defensive side of the ball, Fred Warner. Fred Warner's, coming in another year. He's still. I know it's on his own personal accolades to be defensive player of the year. He looked like it in the first 4 weeks, but he was battling that ankle injury. I think the first 4 weeks he forced a fumble every single game, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, and it was crazy to watch, man. I was watching those games, and when he was making those plays, it was also about when he made those plays. Every time the Niners felt like they needed to have a big stop, Fred Warner came in and was punching balls out left and right, and it's a shame that he hurt that ankle and had to deal with that the rest of the year because it robbed him of a defensive player of the year sort of season because that was the way things were going.
Yeah, I'm willing to stand on that. I really think if he didn't mess up his ankle, he probably would have been in the at least discussion for defensive player of the year. But I think he comes back 100% and he has an all-pro season again, and he truly is the best middle linebacker. Shows us that he is the best middle linebacker in all of football still.
And he's the kind of guy, I know he just signed that new contract, but he's the kind of guy who's going to come in and still want to earn that money. He
Yeah,
knows that he's earned it already because that's why he was given the contract. But just because he signed the deal and he signed the dotted line, it doesn't mean Fred Warner's just going to mail it in. He's going to show up to work every day and say, all right, I'm going to show the 49ers that they made the right decision. That's the kind of guy he is.
yeah, no, he 100%. He's a dog. I'm also looking forward to Diamonor Lenore's first season by himself. No Charvarius Ward. No, let's see what he's got. Line it up. He's a dog too, man.
Can we get Diamador Lenore to the damn Pro Bowl because he was snubbed in 2024? Let's be real.
Yes,
He got
yes,
robbed. There were guys in that Pro Bowl that had no business being there over Diamador Lenore.
yes. I agree. He was snubbed. He should have been a Pro Bowler last year, and I think that he's no longer in Charvarius Ward's shadow. Which Treverius Ward, I loved him, man. Honestly, that was one hell of a loss. But I get it, personal reasons, being in an area, I mean, the dude lost his daughter, but I can't imagine that. As a father of two daughters, I couldn't imagine, going through what he went through. So much respect. I appreciate everything he did out here in the Bay. But it's time for the young dog to eat.
Yeah, he's going to have to be a leader in that secondary now that Charvarius Ward is gone. He's not the young guy anymore. He's a veteran, and really, it wouldn't shock me if he gets voted as a team captain because that's the kind of
Yeah,
personality that Diamador Lenore has. He's vocal. His play also leads by example. And I think that Diamador Lenore is in store for one hell of a season.
yeah, yeah. Very, very underspoken. Uh, a lot of people don't always forget about him, but he's a dog, man.
Absolutely. No better way to put it. Absolutely a dog. Well, Esai, man, anything else before I let you go?
Nah, man. Just want to remind everyone to join the Patreon, man. That that freaking Patreon's awesome. We always chat Niners, everything like that. So join.
Yeah, if you guys are liking the live streams, man, you got to join the Patreon. We have a chat in there where we talk all the time, and I put up bonus videos, and there's going to be more stuff coming as the season gets closer, more giveaways, and the Patreon's worth it, man. Esai, who is on the phone with me right now, he's a member. He's a Patreon member. He'll tell you, man, go sign up for the Patreon.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
All right,
Esai,
JD.
man.
You have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too, brother. Thank you for calling in, and enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
Alrighty. Shout out Esai for calling in. Patreon member Fly Esai calling in tonight here on Keeping the Faith. We've been live for nearly an hour. Time is flying by. That's crazy. It doesn't feel like we've been live for almost an hour. But if anyone else wants to call in, I'll give it a short minute here, and you want to give your thoughts. What has you the most excited heading into the 2025 season with the San Francisco 49ers? Is it the fact that they have a very easy schedule and potentially an easy path to the playoffs based on that easy schedule? What has you excited? Is it the fact that the Super Bowl is at Levi's this year? And that's always a big deal. Does that have you excited? Me, I don't really care because I'm a season ticket holder and I'm still not going to get to go to that game. So the way they do the raffle for Super Bowl tickets, I'm not going to get to go. And if the Niners are not playing in the Super Bowl at Levi's, I'm not going to be hyped. I mean, I'll watch. I like the Super Bowl and everything, but like the Super Bowl being at Levi's does nothing for me unless the Niners are in it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm excited about. Is if the Niners can be playing for the Lombardi in their home stadium. Now, I know there's a lot of time between now and then, and a lot can happen, but we can dream, right? We can dream. Everyone's 0-0 right now, right? All right. Well, I appreciate everyone for calling in, man. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. I think that's a good place to leave it. I appreciate all you guys who have called in this evening. Shout out to everyone who's been participating in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss a video or you miss when we go live. Also, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/keeping the faith for bonus videos, behind the scenes stuff, monthly giveaways, different ways to interact, tons of stuff, man. It's worth it. I'm telling you, the members that are there will tell you it's a fun time. Check out the Patreon. I don't think you'll be disappointed. All the info's down below in the bottom ticker and the description box. As always, man, I'm JD. This has been Keeping the Faith, and I'll be back soon with more stuff, more Niners content. We have OTAs coming up this week, so I'm sure I'll be reacting to the news and the notes that trickle out from Santa Clara. But until then, everyone have a great rest of your weekend, and I will be back soon. And as always, like I always say,